Dementia residents commonly escape out of dementia units when relatives unwittingly let them out. Staff, of course, make every effort for this not to happen, but if a dementia resident is well groomed, well attired with the latest hairstyle, it can be very difficult for a relative to assess whether they're another relative or indeed a dementia resident. So it really takes some observation and orientation for relatives to know who it is that's likely to escape and for them to look out for that. So it's important to just take the time to spend time at the dementia unit and look and see which residents are spending time at the door, wanting to get out, and those indeed that have the skill to do so. And if you're aware of that, mindful of that, chances are you'll be able to get out at a time when that person isn't there, or you can ask the staff member to redirect that person away from the door, which the staff will do. But you really do need to be aware of who these dementia residents are likely to be that want to escape, because if the staff are called away, if someone's fallen or there's an emergency or something else has happened away from the front desk and you're standing there putting in the code as you do, then the dementia resident follows behind you and you can just think they're another relative. This can so easily happen. They just shadow you, 1 meter behind, either down the steps or down the lift if it's first floor. So if a dementia unit is first floor, then you've got to get a code out from the dementia unit itself, then across the small hallway to the next code that you have to pump in again or push in again to go down the steps and then free to go out, or code again, putting that in the same code as the unit into the lift and then going down the lift. So there's 2 codes or security doors to get through. And so amazingly, dementia residents manage to get past all this with the person and they can escape, especially if they're well groomed, and they may even be able to speak. They may well be able to speak enough to be able to get through and get by just with the yes, no answers. That's often enough. If the relative just says, "Oh, how are you?" and they say, "Good," and that's the only conversation. You're not to know, really, whether they have dementia or not if you don't recognise them. But recognition is the main thing, to recognise who it is that's likely to escape, because it creates an enormous amount of problems, of course, if a dementia resident escapes, because that is so stressful for staff. They have to go out and find the resident. And often, if they're quick to notice or recognise that they've escaped, maybe seeing them out the window or someone else notices, then they go out in their private cars and will pick them up, sometimes on the highway, 1 or 2 miles away. Staff themselves have picked up residents. And you can imagine how stressful that is. Already a stressful day, having to care for all the other dementia residents, and then another half hour trying to find someone. And then, of course, the police sometimes find these people as well at shopping malls, sometimes 5-10 kilometres away. They can be, and often are, that fit and that strong to find their way to 5-10 kilometres away that they can walk. But of course, their direction orientation isn't there. So they get lost, and it's so dangerous being on highways and roads when you haven't got any direction orientation. And of course, the relatives, how will they be if they find that their family member from the dementia unit, where it's meant to be secure, has escaped? So don't let this happen to you. Now, it's not just relatives that let dementia residents out. It's sometimes staff as well. Dementia residents can be that canny that you're going out, you put in the code, you look right to left, you think that no one's there, but they can be right up behind your back, shadowing you. And this can happen through lots of security doors. There's no mirror for you to see them behind you. You can't see anything right and left, but they're right at your back. So you really have to turn around, right, left, and make sure, totally round, 360 almost to make sure they're not behind you. So this is just one of the challenges of working in a dementia unit and making sure that this doesn't happen to you, and recognizing who it is that's likely to escape, orientating yourself to their practices and their routine, making sure that you have the code and that you let yourself out quickly, and all of these things with practice you'll be able to do. But you still need to be mindful the whole time, because you never really know when and how it's going to happen, not to get lackadaisical with this important measure, to put these recognition orientation measures in place. So I've written 2 books about these subjects, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon, soft copy, hard copy and ebook, and my website, description below. So please subscribe. Please buy these books if you're interested in reading. Everything is in the books. It's interesting reading and there's a lot to learn. And please subscribe if you're viewing this channel, if you haven't already. And thank you for your support, comments and likes.